Just going to kind of wait and see if anyone's got time this evening. Well, we've got a few people here. Hey, everyone. I hope your evening is going well. Good evening, Bruce. I actually meant to call you. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed with that truck in the truck video. Hey, Tank. Hi, David. I am doing great. I hope you are too. Stay. How are you? I am doing really well. It's chilly here, to put it mildly. For here, I mean, I don't know. Bruce, I hope. Of course, when I was planning that truck dump video, I really was planning on like vacuuming my carpet and washing the outside and going and at first I was even gonna add some more things, and then I just didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it, and I didn't understand why. I do now. Now it's because I didn't need to produce a video. I just wanted to do 100% reality, even though I knew there were some holes in it. Uh, you know, thank you. I felt I don't know. I just felt that that's what I needed to do, and it's not that I don't like to see better thought out vehicle dumps or vehicle stuff, because I do, but I just knew I hadn't made it because I didn't want to do that in my heart, and so that's the way I did it. And I have actually found a couple things that I wanted to do that I have done extra. Well, how is everyone? Is everyone staying dry, staying warm? Hey, Texan, I haven't. I'm going to wait a couple minutes before I throw my big topic out for the evening. Um, I say that I'm going to wait about another 6 minutes because I'm pretty passionate about it, and so thank you, Tank. Texan, it's raining here right now. The high for tomorrow is going to be in the 30s, and then 17s for the low. Hey, Bitty Boo, hey. Um, oh, oh, I'm glad Stay survived. I'm glad it's been a good day. So, actually, I do have something I don't throw out very often. I am sick of the rain too. Is so in my core group, my inner circle, I've got um, some of their family that are that are ill. And good evening. I think I read that. Are you prepared? Hey, prepared fireman. I like firemen, but so keep my core group's family in your prayers, please. They man, it's an ICU visit for one, hospice for another. It's just things that I wish. Of course, like everything, I wish I could do more for my friends, but I can't. But I can pray for them. So if you're so inclined, throw their family some prayer and give them strength. I would appreciate that, and I know they would too. And if they didn't, well, I won't tell them if you don't. Just pray for them. Thank you. So, the two big things I want to talk about tonight, and of course, we all know I'm going to follow every squirrel I can, is I posted a picture on in the community section on YouTube and then in my post on my Patreon channel of a completely burned down building. And so I want to talk about us as preparedness minded folks, or not, just us as people, and fires, and some of my insight. Prepared firefighter, I mean, this, I'm certain you're going to have some input on that, as others will. Excuse me. And then I'm getting ready to do something I should have done a month ago, is plan another Northwest Arkansas prepper meetup. They're a little bit of work, but it's certainly worth it. And see, it's certainly worth it. I say it's a little bit of work. It takes 20 minutes, but calling the people that I need to get that ball rolling sometimes takes time. So yeah, so I'm just gonna get right into the fire deal. Oh, sorry. This is my main phone, so if I get a text, I'll just slide it out of the way. Unless it's from my daughter who's in that church and there's an emergency. Otherwise, I'll be fine. So, if you don't know by now, I'm in emergency services. I'm a police officer and a firefighter, and we work with EMS. And I used to be on the ambulance and in hospitals, and that's my background. And hey, JS, how are you? And so this last, I'll even go. Okay, so in my part of the world and most of America, I'm assuming most of the world, fire departments have districts. Hey, Chasing Life, how are you? And or zones, or what's another thing they call them? Anyway, areas. And so my area is Viking Preparedness. Good evening, sir. How are you? My area is about 100 square miles that I'm immediately responsible for, and the people that I'm chosen. I mean, I'm a captain in my department. I have about 50 volunteers and career people that answer to me. Well, two of them don't, but everyone else kind of does. And it's not just me. There's a couple other captains. I mean, I'm not saying I'm nothing. I'm just one of the team. But so we have about 100 square miles, a little bit less. And two of the districts that attach to us are about half our size. And from Ohio, how are you? They're about half our size, but they only have, one of them I think has 6 firefighters, and and then the other one has about 11. And so we often get asked to go help them. And that's what it's all about. I mean, it's a team sport. They come help us when we ask, and then we go help them. But when you only have 6 or 7 firefighters to draw from, you figure a couple of them aren't very active. I mean, that's just the way it works. Good evening. And so that's how it works. And then the others, there's several of the others. Cool Breeze, how are you? That, they're going to work, they're going to have jobs other places. And even if they're all there, if there is an emergency, hey, Bobo, I'm going to talk about you in a minute, so get ready. If there's an emergency, 6 people, that's very taxing. Hey, Sheepdog, particularly when it comes to fires. And so that picture I posted, I'm pretty, um, I'm pretty discerning. Maybe that's not the right word, but I'm real careful at what I post so it doesn't have any distinguishable marks. I mean, just like when I film, I don't like to film where you can look in the background and know exactly where I'm at. It's no big secret that I'm in Northwest Arkansas. I don't. Wes must be up to no good. I didn't read it, so that's not a big deal. Um, but so that picture is of a family's home, and they lived out in the county, away from the hustle and bustle, which is where I encourage you to move. Um, I mean that's that's the place to be. However, there are some things that you need to be prepared for, and one of them to me is almost nobody that I know is prepared for fighting fire on their property. Fire is devastating. I have had 2 house fires, have lost everything I've had twice. I'm not I'm not speaking to you from just someone looking from, their lifeguard post and going, "Oh, fires are bad." Fires super suck. Twice. One time the only possessions that I had left were what I was wearing, which were church clothes and a few things in my trunk. It was the one day, which I know that there are many other. I mean, I have a Bible right here. There's lots of Bibles, right? Well, for me, I didn't know anything about God. I didn't know that Jesus Christ was my Savior, and I hadn't accepted that until I was already a fireman, number one. But like 16, 17. I guess it was 16. And my parents, my mother, bought me my first Bible. And I had gotten one, when I was a little kid from Bible school with the neighbors or something like that. But my first meant something to me. I used it every day book. And I worked in emergency services 2 hours from home. And that morning, I just happened to go. and I left it at home. I'm like, I'm running late. It's an hour and a half drive to work. I gotta go. I didn't even think about it. I won't lie. I just left it. And of all my worldly possessions, that's the only one that I was like, oh no. Now, when I got to that fire, I was I was very blessed. And if I'm gonna have a fire, I was very blessed to do that. Number one, when the county where I lived, which isn't where I'm from now, but where I lived, when they dispatched that fire, they toned out on the fire pagers. All they had to say was, "This is Travis's house." Every district had somebody come. 14 fire departments sent people or equipment to fight my house fire. I lived a quarter mile at most from my fire station. My house was hit by lightning. It was fully engulfed within moments. There was nothing anyone could do. But they still came. It's wonderful. And when I got there, and I lived over an hour away, they called me on the phone and said, "Hey, your house is on fire. Come home." When I got home, my mother's car was in the driveway, and nobody knew where she was, and nobody knew where my father was. We didn't have a plan. We didn't have, this is way before cell phones. Well, big bag phones, but before we had cell phones, and it was terrible. I thought my mother was inside. I was a lieutenant on our little Podunk Fire Department, and people were doing some of the dumbest things because I asked them to. I'm like, oh, there's a pile of smoldering books under what's left of the stairs. Somebody put some water on that. And my friends did. And I mean, it was crazy. One of my friends, chasing life. I'll come back to that in just a minute. One of my friends, who at the time was probably my best friend, he knew where important things were in the house. So instead of trying to put all the fire, he was like, no, we need to go in this window because Sue, my mom's name is Sue. Sue's blanket is on this bed and her dog is right there too. And the pictures are right here, the scrapbooks are right here, and blah blah blah. And so he did it, and he went in there and he got, we call it her 90 night, my mom's blanket, and it's, I have it today because of what he did. Small town firemen are wonderful. They do the same job as career firefighters. They just don't get paid. And that type of heart is the same heart that we have as preppers, as neo pioneers. That I'm stealing that from Pastor Joe, but it's a fact. And we want to help each other. And for the most part, I know there's some that don't. The lone wolves out there. Yeah, absolutely. Citricate, when you volunteer in your local department, you get access to free training. Last night, there was a free storm spotter class that anyone could go to. It's very educational. My guys get free CPR and first aid training. And it just goes on and on. So I'm going to scroll before I talk about these fires because I missed a couple things. So what made me want to be a firefighter chasing life was when I was little, we lived in Colorado, near Denver, and we had a snowstorm that went to the top of the door. And I was little. I was 4 or 5, and I remember Dad carving out a little thing, and we got on top of the snow, and I saw the firefighters across the street, and everything was cleaned. They were inviting people in to stay warm and giving them coffee. And it wasn't even about the emergencies. I never even knew they went on emergencies. I just knew that firemen were awesome. They're taking care of everybody. And when I wanted to play, the firemen were there to make sure that everyone was safe at the park next to their station. And then later in life, we had moved to Arkansas, and my Uncle Roger was a volunteer firefighter, and I was which is a story for another day, but I'm at an auction house, and a tornado hits, and it blows the roof off of a big warehouse, and it flips it onto the parking lot. And I'm at the outside of this building, and I hear people crying and screaming, and my Uncle Roger comes out from this big mangled mess of debris with someone and takes him to the ambulance. My uncle. Holy cow. I want to be just like him. And then when we moved, we lived next to a fire station, and I got to see them respond, and I got to hear the stories of the community of how Dave Spina, how he saved somebody's life. He did CPR and he saved one of my neighbors, and all these hero things just happened over and over. And I couldn't help but think that I wanted to be that. I wanted to be part of that. My first set of turnout gear was at that little fire station, was hip boots and a long coat and a huge plastic helmet. And I couldn't drive yet, so I had to run up the hill to the fire station. I'm a fireman because I've been blessed by God to want that, and I think I do an okay job at it. So chasing life, sometimes it's hard to find a district that either is open to volunteers and or is, has slots. Sometimes having slots is a thing. Um, I do like the gear in the trucks, but really what I like the most about it is last night one of my firefighters was ill, and what happened is irrelevant. But he was ill, and he needed an ambulance ride to the hospital. And his wife called me. Of all the people she could call, all the people on the department, she called me and said he was going to want you to know what's going on. And so I was just wonderful. I feel that family and that team, and it's what I want in most things in my life come from that desire to be part of a team. Back, so I'd become a firefighter. I went away to do other jobs. Um, I got to see some different parts of the world, but it was always about EMS or fire. I don't know. Anyway, it was just cool. So that heart and that drive makes me want to share with you guys that there are some things you can do, just like that fire I posted. And yes, Wes, water and oh, hold on, I don't know where everyone at. 1,000 gallons of water. You don't quite need 1,500 psi, but see, Sister Kate, and there's some poor man foam alternatives too. But that fire the other night made me want to share that there are some things that you guys need to do at your homesteads, at your home, to be prepared for fire. You have got to have smoke detectors. You've got to. They're inexpensive. If there's a Red Cross chapter anywhere near you, they're free. You got to do a little form that's basic. Oh, yeah, Wes, that's a heck of a system. Yes, Texan Dawn dishwashing. You can do that with a special kind of nozzle, like a gardening nozzle, with the Venturi effect and Dawn. Dawn, I like Dawn because it makes better bubbles, but smoke detectors, you got to have them, and you've got to have them with working batteries. And I know, but every time I cook bacon, it goes off. Well, get better at cooking bacon, improve ventilation, and or just deal with it. Change the batteries twice a year. People don't die in house fires at night when their smoke detectors are functioning and have batteries. And yes, I didn't see who said that, but Cool Breeze, you're right. You can get new detectors that are a little bit more expensive, but not much. That they have 10 and 15-year battery lives that you don't have to change. And when they start beeping, they just need replaced. You want to replace yours every 8 to 10 years, unless they're designed for longer. You want to keep them clean. You want to dust them. If you've got one of those extendable vacuums, you can vacuum them out every now and then. You want to keep these devices clean and powered because they're going to save your life. You want them outside every bedroom and on every floor. You want one in the kitchen, I know. Oh, but it's going off in the kitchen. But you need them there. You need them in the garage and the laundry room. Believe it or not, the laundry room, outside the laundry room is a big deal. Chasing life. Wes, I'm actually a turd. You just got to get to know me better. And you know me as well as, or better than almost anyone that watches me. So I feel blessed that you say that. So So you got to have smoke detectors. And I want you to go get a fire extinguisher for your kitchen. Don't put it under the sink. Don't put it by the stove. Put it by the door to your kitchen, wherever you're going to get out. So if your kitchen is here, and what I don't know what I said, JS Badger. So if your kitchen is here, but your exit door is over here, you need to go and put it by the door. You always want to call for help, 911 right away, squirt your extinguisher, and get outside. The great thing about one of the first things we want to do as preppers is we want to create our bug out bag. Absolutely, for multiple reasons. The number one reason for me is you can grab that bag and get outside. So if you jump out of the shower and run naked, you got to change your clothes in that bag. You've got the bug out bag thing, and I'm not turning this into that. So I want you guys to have that stuff. And then if you live anywhere, and this is kind of a trick, if you live anywhere with any vegetation around your house, grass, bushes, trees, sagebrush, any kind of vegetation, you need to learn or go to firewise.org. It is wildland urban interface suggestions to make your home fire safe. You can still have wonderful, dark, thorny, nasty, gnarly security bushes that are less susceptible to fire. You can learn how far you need to have a clean space around your house so the fire doesn't crawl up the hill and burn your home. It teaches you how to build homes smarter. If you're building your bug out location, you can use these tips to make it a big deal. Yes, Bubble, yard maintenance. Keep things mowed and cut back. It's not even just about fire safety. If you have 100 feet, if you have that much zone, some people don't. If you have 100 feet around your home that's mowed and cut down and cleaned up, then not only do you have a more fire safe home, but you have a more intruder safe home. They like to be able to hide in tall grass and brush and the things that they can hide in too. So it's a double-edged useful axe. You need to have some tools and mindset to use those tools to fight fire. Now, a wildland fire, the biggest thing you can do is you can have rakes. Now, water is great. If you have water and pumps it's the best. I don't have water and pumps. I can't, technically I do. I have a key to 3 fire stations. But if you don't have that, then you need to have, yes, yuck is awesome. You need to have rakes. You need to have a plan. Backpack blowers are amazing. They do the work of 10 guys. Got to move things in case Natalie comes out. And those are the things you need, because for wildland fires, you want to be able to cut a big wide trail all the way down to dirt. And I encourage you to have that planned out, ready, or already done when it starts to get to the dry season. In your house, have your bug out bag, have your fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, they're all important. And if you've never done a fire drill, first off, fire drills, somebody's on a police chase. Fire drills are important. But if you can do a fire drill well, and you can work out things like alternate ways out of your house, windows, doors, and have a meeting place, and you practice those, no matter how old your kids are, no matter how old your family is or whatever, if you practice going to that meeting place, it can extend into your preparedness, because that is the beginning steps of your preparedness. You're not running from me. I don't have to try to catch you. And fires suck, and I want you to be as prepared as you can for them. And it's just like with any, you want your information scattered in multiple places, so you have a copy of this stuff here, and you want a copy at, Uncle Bob's house or wherever, for more than just fires, but for any disaster. Because we're more likely to have regular everyday disasters than zombies coming down the street. As I sit in a town with 25,000 college kids in it that could turn into zombies pretty quick, I think. See you, sheepdog. Thanks for coming. Do. Wes Estes. You stack hay and use lumber around your foundation. That's awesome. That's super useful. That's awesome that you skirted your house with that steel. Most people don't think of that. Trailer houses, if you don't have the underskirting, you're just asking for fire to blow up underneath there and catch all that on fire. Cool Breeze, I started this channel because, I started it because I was watching a couple other channels. Hey, Lone Star Living, and I focused totally on EDC stuff. At the time, I carried a messenger bag that it was just crammed full of crap, which is molded into my everyday bag, and my bug out bag, or some people tier their tiered bags or whatever. And then I realized that my focus is, if we're prepared for everyday emergencies, not being able to get to the grocery store because you don't have money, you don't have transportation, the roads are out, the roads are icy, whatever that is, then you're better prepared for the bigger emergencies, the things that are regional or national or international things, because I do prepare for those too. I always say, I'm not preparing for, an EMP or blah, 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 but I am too. I just look at it as those help me be more prepared for the ice storm, which I say that it's raining and temperatures dropping, as well as anything else. And then as my channel grew, it didn't grow until the last year and a half. It did a little bit. I remember when I thought, there are 18 people in the room right now, and when I thought 18, freezing rain, that sucks. When I thought 18 people would watch my video, it made my whole day. I mean, to think that you guys are here on a Wednesday evening, just listen to me jabber. I only hope that the Lord puts things on my heart and thus out my mouth that make a difference, because I want to make a difference in everyone's life. I want you to be better prepared, so we're not just sheep. We're not just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for everyone else. JS Badger, I haven't even said anything yet. Welcome. We're going to start right here. Oh, my goodness. It is rain. You guys may hear the rain on the truck, but it has rained here 2 out of every 3 days for a month and a half. I saw some guys, I'm assuming they work in the parks department, and they can't work on their ball fields because they're underwater. And I mean, I'm not a big baseball guy, but for the people that enjoy it, I don't want them to not be able to play because they're underwater. Dipper, I am so sorry. Do you need me to call and get you an emergency delivery of powdered sugar? I mean, there would be a fee, of course, but we could work something out. So, Texan, um, one of my buddies on oh, Bear Ninja, hey, one of my buddies is totally off grid now. Well, he can flip a switch, but his water is off grid completely. And so we had they got in the habit of so much rain that their tanks were always overflowing. That his family, I'm sure mostly his kids, decided that they didn't need to watch their water, and so their tanks dumps pretty quick. And so in a couple of days they were like, "Oh no, we're almost out of water," and it wasn't going to rain for another day and a half. And it was, well, I don't want anyone to run out of water, so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what can we do? Where can we find a water truck?" Fire trucks aren't necessarily the best water for drinking. The water comes from the same place. I mean, out of a hydrant, or well, not always. Sometimes we pull out of ponds or lakes or the river, but for the most part, it comes out of a hydrant that's right in the fire station's driveway. But the trucks aren't very clean. I mean, we don't sanitize them because we don't keep them around to haul potable water. Uh, and plus, he lives out of my district, and so I'm like, I can't really take a truck up to do that. But fortunately, it rained again, and I think it encouraged him to up his water storage. And I say that I have terrible water storage. In town, I only have 200 gallons, 300 gallons, 300 gallons outside, and about 50 inside, 50 or 75, 70 inside. Um, that's not a lot of water. And so, and now we don't use that water for anything but emergency preparedness for the garden. And my garden is 3 inches underwater. Not, I mean, I wouldn't be doing anything anyway, but by now I've usually tilled it at least once. Absolutely, Texan. And I'm kind of glad that that's something he learned. I mean, we learned. We're a team, so we learned now that we needed more storage at his house because his house is kind of a core of one of our circles. And then at the other one, we too much water is the flip side. It's like, oh my gosh, we got to deal with all this water. Terrible problem to have, isn't it? Too much water. Oh. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, or that I planned on talking about, is another meetup um, in Northwest Arkansas. And I don't have a date yet. I can't look because on my phone. I just kind of uh, I just kind of got done with my SHOT Show trip and it took a couple weeks to play catch up, and I realized I'd overlooked scheduling one when I wanted to schedule it, which would have been this Saturday or Sunday. And so I'm going to schedule another one, and I'm looking for class ideas. So the format that I like to do when I do a meetup is a lot of open time. Wes, don't let me forget that. I'll tell you about SHOT Show a little bit. So I like a gathering time and there to be, a snack or coffee ready and drinks and tables and kind of let people mill around and gather around and there to be a static display. Whether that display is, you know, Sally's Dutch oven set up, even if it's on a table, here's all her tools and her Dutch oven, her mass cooking, first aid kits, whatever it is. And so we do that, and then have a session or a class that that's hopefully someone else led. I don't mind. I certainly don't mind teaching. I teach medical classes and fire classes all the time. That's my job. I get paid for, and so I don't mind. But I like, so many people are so much more knowledgeable in more areas than I can imagine, and so I liked something like that. The last one we did, I think we did homestead security, and then we broke for lunch, and we had a potluck lunch, which I always like to do. People are more comfortable around food and enjoy sharing, and plus there are usually several people that I like. I like what they make and stuff because it's healthy and wonderful. And then a long lunch with lots of break. Um, oh, good night, Texan. Thank you for being here. And then another session. The last time the example we did was kind of a radio, a net, a cast out a net on who wants to be involved in a radio network in our area. And then that breaks off into discussions. And I kind of had this last one. I had my radio guy and a couple more groups, radio folks were there, and I made sure they got together. Wes, you're killing me, man. And then once they got together and set up their own independent get together, the radio guys from a couple groups, then they spread out and they started answering questions about radios and go from there. Let's see, I missed a couple. Giggling at Wes. Stay survived. So the meetups that I do are really, they're, yeah, Bobo, that's exactly right. You just show up. I post them on my channel on Patreon. I post them here. I post them on Facebook. I post them everywhere I can because those meetings, the meetings that I set up. Now I help set up mag meetings and things too, but the meetups that I do are totally for us to get together and get a little bit of an idea or a little bit of comfort, and maybe the person you're sitting next to you like to talk to, and you decide to go for coffee later and see if you like each other, and you grow and you share information. And so there's no requirements to come to these meetings. We don't. Well, okay, it depends on where we meet. Sometimes when we meet, we put a can up and say, hey, um, the building costs $50 or whatever. If you want to contribute, you can, but nobody ever has to, and that money is only used for that. Most of the time, we don't even do that. It's me and Bobo helps a huge amount, and just a few others that know, hey, today it costs about $70, so let's just split it this way. And when everyone contributes, they bring a bag of chips or whatever they want to bring for the potluck, and just willingness to sit there and meet new people, or sit quietly and just listen. Whatever you want to do. I try not to be. I encourage people to be involved, but not. I don't go, hey, what are you doing here? Unless I've already talked to that person. I think I did it to Wes one day, but I'm certain I talked to him ahead of time if I did. Wes, stop it. Not everybody knows you're ornery. So stay survived again. The points that the meetups that we do just started raining. Yeah, stay survived. It's really just a meeting to meet up with people, and if mag, because there's always a couple mag groups represented there. I'm very blessed. I'm beyond blessed to have wonderful people in my life. Wes, Bobo, several several on here right now that are in my circle, but they're part of their own circles, and we kind of overlap a little bit, and it's wonderful uh, because the information we get is amazing, and at the very least, you get to sit in a room and listen to things that usually interest you because we're mostly like-minded, and you can feel a little more comfortable to go, oh, well, so they are talking about ham radios, or they are talking about, what they're carrying a concealed weapon, or, you know, things like that, or, oh my gosh, these people have a rifle too. And, it's, I don't know, I like meetups. Yeah, spam radios are great. Um, and Wes amazes me. He travels to incorporate people into his circle and network a great deal. So he's ornery, but he's great. So stay survived. Um, One of the networks that is pretty active is on Viking preparedness, and that's Pastor Joe Fox. He's in relatively close, within a 3-hour drive of me, and he's got a good network of all countrywide. I guess that's nationwide. Except now, if nationwide is on your side, nationwide meetups. So if you're not, I have no idea where you're at. So if you're not in Northwest Arkansas or Southern Missouri or Eastern Oklahoma, then it's kind of hard to come to us. Southernmost Illinois. Who do I know up there? I got a few people up in Northern Missouri. I'll put some thought into it. Cool Breeze. That's actually one of you're controlling bleeding. I have a group that just came in. It's not new anymore, but it's new to me. A program called Stop the Bleed, and it's totally focused on hands-on bleeding control, direct pressure, and tourniquets. It's wonderful, and it's free, and they're always willing to come over. So I was thinking about asking them to come do that. Not Bob. Yeah, I think you went through it. It's a wonderful class, and it's free, and it's easy. Um, it's free and easy, and it's something that's important that everyone can do. And even if you're not near me, you can Google Stop the Bleed. It may be even stopthebleed.org. Um, I don't remember. I remember it's just Stop the Bleed. Well, Stay survived along with Wes. I'm still in the planning stages, Wes. So, man, you're awesome. We would love for you guys to come. So, message me, or that other guy I talk to all the time. Message him, and when you come up, and we'll try to coordinate a little bit. And oh, why don't we as preppers trade skills more often? I know that we do in our if we're in a group we do, but we got to get together. We got to have more of these meetings where we do things together and share each other's knowledge. I mean, you just can't. I get so angry when I know people are are educated and experienced and they're good teachers, but they don't want to let it out. They're like, well, I don't want to teach. I mean, I'm going to use something I just saw in here. I don't want to teach so and so how to use their ham radio because, well, then I'm not the radio man. That's bullcrap. Where the rubber meets the road, we're all going to need to do things, and we're all going to need to know things, and we're all going to need to work together. And if we can't do it today because I'm the medical guy and I don't want to teach anyone how to do medical things because, well, then what am I? Then I'm nothing. If somebody feels like that, I pray for them that they realize that they are super special and they can bring so much to the team. Oh, man. Sharing is caring. And I like to go fishing. I'm fishing, excuse me, fishing. My coworker is, I used to work at Cabela's and he's like, well, where do you work? And I said, well, I work in the hunting section. No, you don't. You work in the hunting section. See, Cool Breeze, it is, um, and I'm coming back to yours too, Dill. Radios seem hard to me. I mean, I use one every day, but I use one that's pre-programmed, and there's two channels, and I pick it up and go, you know, blah 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 to dispatch. I got it. And so, learning how to program them, or better ways to use them, or what different channels are for, and that they, what frequencies go further, when the best time to transmit. Don't even get me into antennas. Everyone's still there? Hello, I'm back. I'm sorry. Ada, man, we just need to share more, and and always learn. No matter how much I think I know about something, I certainly, there are probably people in this parking lot waiting for their kids at church that know more about medical stuff than I do. I'm certain of it. I want to learn more. I'm always trying to learn more, but I also try to share because there might be somebody that doesn't know as much as me. And so the more I share with them, the more they know, the better off it'll be later. Catfish. Dude, yes, you're exactly right. I knew I was scrolling for a reason. Is in my uh, not so much in my core group, which because we all kind of take turns doing everything. We're pretty tight with that. But I want to teach somebody to do my job and do it better. I want somebody to know, and it starts with my kids. I won't lie. I want somebody other than me to know as much as I know, so that when something happens to me, because something is going to happen, guaranteed, I have to prepare people for when I'm not there. So if I don't teach them, this is how I organize my stuff. These are the skills that I know. This is how you do XYZ. This is what you do for a stroke. This is what you do for for bleeding control, this is how you handle anaphylaxis. If I don't teach those things to as many people as I can, there won't be people that know that stuff. And oh, that's an important message. That's from my daughter saying church is over. Cool Breeze is that like the weight ball with the handle, the kettlebell. I mean, I'm pretty certain that is. The gym that I go to in the morning, all I've really been using is the cardio machine, the elliptical. I'm up to 2 minutes, which I know some of you guys are like 2 minutes is nothing, but for me, being able to do 2 minutes at a good pace on the elliptical, and then go back to the treadmill and come back and do the 2 minutes, and do that 4 times without puking, until I'm pretty pleased with that. Welding. Oh my goodness. Welding is a skill that everyone should try to be able to weld. And I used to manage a welding shop, the office side of it, not the shop. Those guys are amazing. If there's ever a MacGyver, it's a welder or a machinist type person that I've noticed. Man, they can just create anything. So I think I've seen not because I go to the law enforcement gym, and I don't think I've seen those. I'm sure they're there. I'm not doing a whole lot of like the free weights or the dumbbells, and I'm sure they're probably over nearby that. I'll have to look in the morning, or the morning's Thursday. I'll have to look on Friday morning. But well, guys, I really thank you guys for being here. It has been almost an hour, so I'm gonna go. And my beautiful daughter is running to the truck. And Barrington, I hope you like it. Come on in. We're live on the World Wide Web.
Wait, what? We are?
Yeah, the whole world.
Thanks for reading.
Oh, no. All right, I'm going to go, guys. Thank you so much. Let's stick your head over and look. They can't see who you are.
Why?
I don't know.
I was reading the comments.
So if you want to send any comments, put them in below. I read every comment on every video. Most of them I just like or love or both.
What?
But I care so much about what you guys say. It's helped me do better videos. It's helped me be better prepared, and I want it to continue. So I'm gonna go say hi. My daughter's being weird. All right. Thank you guys so much.
I'm always weird.
Oh my goodness.
I thought you ended it again.
I'll talk to you guys later.
I'm gonna stop like an idiot.